We will speak to the Prime Minister about the price of milk shortly, but first, the threat level in Britain remains at severe after a gunman killed at least 38 people, including at least 15 Britons at a beach resort in Tunisia. Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the deadly attack, which was aimed at Western tourists. John Key joins me now. John, good morning to you.
Morning, Paulie.
Right, we're going to see if we can do 5 topics today.
Okay.
I'm wasting time by talking about the logistics of it.
Okay, yes.
But we're going to see if we can do 5. Normally we do 2, so rapid fire.
Okay.
The Tunisian attack, it's interesting because it happened in Tunisia. This isn't a land grab as far as ISIS is concerned. What is the message they're trying to send us, do you think?
Well, a truly awful one, that they're trying to take their terror to the world. And it's the real point I've been making, which is that, yeah, you can say all you like, you'll never go to Iraq on holiday, or maybe you'll never go to Syria, but people do go to Tunisia. We had also issues in other countries in the weekend, obviously Kuwait, where I was recently. And I think it just shows you, we just have to stand up to these people. They're awful.
If this can happen in Tunisia, on a beach, at a resort, can it happen in New Zealand?
I suppose technically yes, but I mean, I would have thought it's much less likely. We have a much lower terror threat than they do, for instance, I would have thought in countries like Tunisia.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because this attacker, this lone attacker, was radicalised in Tunisia.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the whole issue, is that ISIL have an outreach campaign. They use social media trying to grab people. I mean, if you take Kuwait as an interesting example, also on the weekend, tragic example, this is a suicide bomber in a mosque. We were there obviously very recently. Brona actually had lunch with a group of highly educated women there that were talking about, and they were saying, look, a year or so earlier, we would never ask whether someone was Sunni or Shiite. I mean, these are people trying to create religious divisions in a country that's historically not had these sort of events. So it's just truly awful.
All right, let's talk climate change for a moment. An international study has found that 13% of New Zealanders are climate change skeptics, entirely climate change skeptics.
I think you're in that group.
We lead.
I'm
wondering if you are.
My name's Paul, and I'm a climate change denier.
I'm wondering if you are as well.
No.
Interestingly enough, New Zealand has the highest rate of climate change skeptics.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on it?
I think human-induced climate change is happening. So that's my own personal view, and I think we do need to do our bit. I've just never thought New Zealand should lead the world. And we have lots of good things happening here. 80% of our energy comes from renewable sources. It's, I think, 22%.
But we're not getting anywhere near, and this is a complicated one if I'm trying to get through topics quickly, we're going further and further away from our targets, aren't we?
No, I don't think that's true. I mean, we're going to take a new target into
Paris. It's either true or it's not. You say you don't think it's true. Is it false?
It depends by what you mean on your target. But basically, at the end of this year, we're going to Paris with a new target. Cabinet hasn't decided yet, but it's going to. But the main point I'd make is that we have a very different profile. Half our emissions from agriculture, much harder to find a solution yet.
But we are moving further away from our targets, aren't we? So you're saying we're going to redefine our targets.
It depends what you mean by the target. Our drop dead...
You're sounding like Tim Grosser now.
Well, it's just that there's been lots of different numbers. I mean, we said on a conditional basis it would be -10 to -20, depending on what the world did. Let's see what the world does and let's see where we end up.
Okay. But as far as you're concerned, we're doing our bit.
You're not going to get through
climate change done. No, you're absolutely right. Let's move on. Obesity. So your Health Minister, Jonathan Coleman, over the weekend ruled out a sugar tax.
Yes.
In fact, seemed to rule out enforced regulation altogether. Are you as a government, are you entirely ruling those things out?
No, I don't think that's what I think he was saying sugar taxes he doesn't think are very effective. There are countries in the world that are using them. I saw a report, I think it's Mexico, that used one recently.
Are they working anywhere? Are sugar taxes working?
Well, they're not implemented widely. I mean, you've seen Jamie Oliver saying he's going to put down on things in some of his restaurants or whatever a little bit. But look, isn't the point here that consumption of sugar in of itself is not bad? Okay, it's the quantity of sugar. It's like anything in life. It's like eating something that, a piece of cake or a McDonald's or whatever. It's not bad as long as you just don't do it every day. But we know we've got a
problem. We know there are people that are doing it every day.
So the really big points, I think, are education, people understanding what are in their drinks, basically making sure that you have portion control and exercise. So, for instance, I went to Chelsea Sugar Works on Friday just to have a look through. Great facility. We were talking
Where's this story going?
Sugar. Well, I was going to say, actually, wrong place. Went to Convita on Thursday, I think, and had a look through. They had a chart just for kids because they have an education facility there. And this is on their chart. They were saying if you have a bottle of Coke, it's 10 teaspoons of sugar. If you have a flavoured mineral water, How many do you think that is?
Oh, I don't know, but I can see the expression on your face. I'm thinking it's probably 12.
Well, it was 11.
Oh.
I'd be surprised. Sometimes I've drunk that stuff thinking it's way better.
Oh, and people do. People do. But here's the problem with education. You're never going to get the education to the people that really need it, who are breeding real problems. They're bringing their children up with these massive quantities of sugar daily.
Yeah, so it's education. And my chief science advisor, who's a specialist in this whole area, would tell you, sugar, fat and salt, they're the three things. Have them, but obviously in moderation.
All right. It's just a matter of trying to get that through to the right people, isn't it?
You've only done 4.
I know. All right, moving on. Milk. All right. According to David Shearer, we're being ripped off for milk in this country. Why do we pay more for milk in New Zealand, one of the biggest milk producers in the world, than they do in Britain and Australia?
Price war at the moment in the UK is causing that. So there's a big range of prices. You can go along and, at a supermarket potentially pay, $3.
So we're not being ripped off?
No, there's no international price for milk, unlike, say, milk powder, for instance.
I'm determined to get this next one, but I'm told that I'm not allowed to, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Do it.
It kicks in July 1st, a raft of new policy changes. You pick your favourite. My favourite is ACC reduced car levies.
Free doctor's visits for children under 13, although it won't personally affect me because Max is 20 and Steffi's 22.
You should have brought it in earlier.
It's still a good thing. I know. And we're after other things, more money for hospices, just a range of things. And they really just reflect that as we're getting a little bit more money as a government, there's emphasis little, not a lot, we are really trying to do things which, target sort of families and those most in need. So doctor's visits, hospice, there's some stuff around paid parental leave, ACC levies and the likes.
Brilliant. John, thanks a lot. Have a good week.
5. Well done. You're in trouble.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
I know. I'm in trouble, but we did do 5.